What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Clash Royale video, and today we're going to be using one of the most useless units according to everybody, and this is going to be a very fun deck to play, and this is going to be very effective in the mid ladder. Anything that's really higher than 8,000 trophies is going to be very difficult to make this work, but I'd say 8,000 and under is going to be benefiting from this deck, and it is an Electro Giant Rune Giant deck. Now, a lot of people think that the Rune Giant is a pretty garbage unit. They think there's nothing that can be done with this unit. I'd like to think otherwise. Obviously, it's not a broken unit by any means, but if you use the unit as it's intended to be as a buffing support unit, you will be having a lot more success. So I like having the Electro Giant. It's one of these units that it's one of my favorites in the game. It's a really strong win condition. It just fits the deck really nicely. So you put your Electro Giant, you put your Rune Giant right behind it, and then you start to build a very big push. That's what this deck is all about. You are going to be playing a sort of beat down deck. It's a 3.5 elixir, so it's not actually that heavy. You have cards like the Electro Wizard for extra offense and defense as well. You have the Ice Wizard, which actually has been performing pretty decently in this deck. You could switch it out for something else, say like an Executioner, if you feel like you want to go a little bit heavier on the deck, but I think the Ice Wizard does a pretty good job, especially at slowing down some big units like the P.E.K.K.A. or the Mega Knight. It is a pretty strong unit for the cost. And then you have your Goblin Gang for defense. Goblin Gang just provides a lot of utility. Again, it just helps you on the ground. It also helps you in the air. So it's a very versatile card that I always like using as much as possible. The log is self-explanatory, dealing with skeleton armies and all these summons and princess. You want to be able to have that log. It does very well. The Little Prince is a very strong addition to this deck. It actually fits the deck super well. The Rune Giant actually ends up working with the Knight, and it just buffs both units. It makes them hit like an absolute truck. Having the Little Prince on defense is also quite strong, so don't sleep on the Little Prince, guys. It's one of the stronger parts of this deck, and sometimes you might not be able to make the Electro Giant push work because it's too much elixir to commit, and that is why you are going to be playing the Rune Giant along with your Little Prince, or you could switch out the bats for a Barbarian Barrel. Both work really well. I do like bats just because of their versatility, but the Barbarian Barrel does work if you feel like you need some more frontline, which this deck definitely doesn't need. You could switch out the Ice Wizard for a Knight per se if you want even more frontline, but the Rune Giant is pretty tanky. It's not the tankiest unit, but for 4 elixir, I think it does pretty well, and you can make your own push happen with that Rune Giant along with the Little Prince, and you can take towers super easily, and the opponent has to commit a lot of elixir, and that is where you start building the push. And I really wanted to start making this a really fun series where we're using cards that most people aren't using in higher ladder, just because they might think it's not the top tier cards. But at the end of the day, guys, Clash Royale is a game, and we are here to have fun, and we're also trying to climb. We want to try and make both things happen, but using meta decks to me personally is extremely boring. I don't enjoy playing what's meta. I like beating the meta with things that are off meta. It's always been fun to me in every type of game that I've played that has a meta. I hate playing the meta. I love playing something different, so the enemy doesn't expect it, and they'll see a Rune Giant and say, what the hell is even that? I don't see anyone playing this, and then they really have no way of actually countering. They start to stutter, and those few moments you're going to be getting a really big advantage. That is where it all counts. Now, if you're using a meta deck, everybody knows how to counter it. Everybody knows what to look out for. Everybody knows the combos. But if you're playing a different deck that people haven't seen in a long time, or people just aren't playing and it's not popular, then you're going to be surprising them, and you're going to be winning a lot of matchups. Just make sure you're playing the deck correctly and play Clash Royale in your style. Don't let other people tell you what you need to play in order to be successful. There have been plenty of top ladder players playing off meta decks and still being quite successful. They know what they're doing with the deck they've chosen to play and why they chose these cards to be a part of their deck. So don't forget that, guys. It's such a fun experience to be creating new decks in Clash Royale. Let me know in the comments below which unit that isn't popular we should make a deck around. We really started thinking about units like the Battle Healer to make a deck around that can actually work and be a little bit more viable than what it is now. But other than that, guys, let me know in the comments if you guys enjoyed this beatdown deck and if you guys are seeing success with it, and let me know what you guys think about the Rune Giant. Do you guys think the unit is absolutely useless, or you think there is still some saving grace if played correctly? I would definitely like to know in the comments. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.